It is the beginning of July 2025 here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Time to look at the housing market data and what's going on in the Albuquerque real estate market. I usually do this as a monthly, but since we just finished the second quarter, let's look at it by the quarter. And so the charts we're going to be looking here at first, and by the way, I've got a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to try to keep it as concise as possible, but there's some pretty interesting insights to give you a sense of where we are in the real estate market here in Albuquerque, a couple national things as well. Also, at the end here, I'm going to go into some forecasting, look at where prices will most likely be here over the next few months. Let's start right here. Again, we're looking at 3 months, second quarter of 2025, and we're comparing to second quarter of 2024 in most cases here. So first and foremost, we're looking at closed sales. Now the chart I have up here today, this is broken down by price range. So closed sales overall, we had 2,671 homes that sold and closed over the last 90 days, last 3 months. Put that in perspective, that's 30 homes per day in the last 90 days. That's about 60 families making a move, either or moving on or moving in. 60 per day, just to put that in perspective, because there's been a lot of talk about, oh, the market's slow, there's not a lot of activity. Well, no, that's a lot of activity. That's 60 people per day on average in the Albuquerque area over the last 90 days. So a little perspective there. By price range, we break down a little bit differently here. For the 300,000 and below, this kind of darker blue color, it's about a 7% decrease. No surprise, because a lot of homes are moving out of that price range. There's just not as many homes in that 300,000 and below. Pretty much steady with last year for the number of closed sales in that 300 to 400 price range. And then in that 4 to 600 price range, we saw a pretty good increase, about 6%. So a lot of homes moving up into that price range. And then in the luxury market, 600 and above, we saw about a 3% increase in the number of sales. But across the board, pretty much even with last year. Let's look about supply. Homes for sale. Number of homes for sale on average over the last 90 days, there were about 2,094 homes on average for sale, and that is a 26% increase over 2024. However, for perspective, in 2019, about the same time, there were maybe 2,700 homes on the market versus the 2,100 we're looking at right now. So we're still, even though we've increased in the number of homes on the market, a lot more choices we've seen in about 5 years, it's still below those 2019 levels and not quite back to that yet. Across the price ranges, there's not a whole lot to report there other than in that 300,000 and below, there's been a decrease in the number of them, again, just because so many homes have moved up in price range. Pending sales, this is the number of homes going under contract, kind of gives us a sense of what kind of activity is happening. We saw a slight increase over last year, about 2,700 homes went under contract in those 3 months, versus just under 2,700 last year, same period. All right, days on market. This is one of the things a lot of people want to know. It's like, okay, if I sell my home, how long is it going to take to sell? Well, on average, 35 days is what it took for homes when they come on the market till they went under contract. And these are for homes that actually closed in that 3 months period. And that's an increase of about 25% from the same period in 24. We saw the lower price point, the 300,000 and below, saw a pretty big increase there, up 88% from last year. And I suspect that's mostly due to condition. A lot of those homes in that lower price point maybe need a little bit more attention and maybe just aren't selling as fast because they're not perfect for the market. They're not move-in ready, maybe. Speculating here a little bit, but I'm sensing that's what's going on. And then the other days on market number, which is our median days, 14 days over the last 3 months. So that's half the homes went under contract within 14 days. The other half did not. So just kind of give you a sense. All right, prices. Let's look at sale prices. Now, this is going to be a little wonky because we've got it broken down by price range, but just overall, the average price for over the last 3 months was $417,647. The median was $359,995. And so that median is about 2% increase, and the average is about 3% increase. Price per square foot, this is where breaking it down by price range gives us an interesting look here. So under the $300,000 price range, pretty much even with last year, $202 a square foot. In that 3 to 4 price range, slight increase, 1.5%. In the 4 to 6, we saw about 3% increase, and then in the luxury market, 600,000 and above, we saw about 3.5% increase. Put it all together, price per square foot, we saw 2.4% increase from a year ago. That's now at $214 per square foot for the homes that closed in the second quarter. All right, let's jump over to a few other data points here. Speaking of home price appreciation, Freddie Mac just came out with their May read on home price appreciation in our market. This is on my website. And for May 2025, Freddie Mac says the home prices increased in the Albuquerque area by 3.38%. Let's call it 3.4% increase in home prices in the Albuquerque area. And this is based on data from both Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae of homes that sold. So that tracks, I'm going to say close to what we just saw with the price per square foot, a little bit more, but we are somewhere in that range right now. Now, the thing that we need to understand about that is better than most places in the country. Around the country right now, home price appreciation on average across the whole country is closer to 2%, 2.2%. So we are outpacing a little bit. Very moderate, but that's okay at this point. All right, I want to jump to a totally different subject. No, I mean, it's all in context. National delinquencies, or the number of delinquencies. These are distressed homeowners, folks that aren't able to make their mortgage, which is a bummer, but we need to give some perspective here, because I keep hearing data about, there's people underwater and there's people that are going to be having to be forced to sell. Well, right now nationally the delinquency rate is 3.2%, and if you can see this chart, normally this time of year, based on if we go back to the basically 2000 to 2004 period, there would have been about 4% homes that were in delinquent status. So we're still below what would be considered a normal amount of delinquencies. However, I wanted to break it down even further and look at the New Mexico market. Right now, delinquencies, remember we just said 3.2 nationally. Well, New Mexico is only 2.8%. There's about 0.5% of some foreclosures. And overall, 3.3% of all the homes in the Albuquerque area, New Mexico, not just Albuquerque, 3.3%, which is below the national average of 3.6%. So from a distressed homeowner standpoint, we're sitting pretty good. All right, let's do a little crystal ball. 1 year forecast. This is something Zillow puts out every month. They do a 1 year in the future look at what they project home values will be a year from now. And right now we're looking at this as a percentage. This chart represents the 100 largest metropolitan area markets in the country. Albuquerque is actually, for a year out from now, ranked number 3 with Zillow here. They're saying 1.6% year over year price appreciation a year out from now. And Albuquerque is one of the few markets, well, I don't say few, of the 100 markets we're looking at here, Albuquerque's in that top tier, top 10, top 5 of the markets that they do project to still see appreciation. There are definitely some markets around the country that are seeing issues and do project to see some decreases. And you can see that on the chart here. All the ones in red are projected to have price declines. In fact, even in the United States, Zillow is projecting a 0.5% decrease over the next year. So we'll see how that plays out. That's, things have been changing very quickly in the housing market, and it does seem like the market is starting to warm up a little bit compared to where we were even just a month ago. So we'll see how that plays out. Okay, I promise I'm going to get into the leading indicator. I see, I already showed you that one. All right. I've got this piece of data that looks at all the homes that are in pending status right now in the Albuquerque area. So that means the homes that are under contract. And what we look at is what were they listed for and what was the median price per square foot for those homes. But what we can do is compare the same period this year versus the same period last year and see if there's been a change. And that'll give us a pretty good idea of what they're going to sell for in the future compared to last year. I hope you got all that. All right, so let's look at this. I've got it charted two ways. Let's look at the 90-day. So this year, of the homes currently right now, $217 per square foot versus $210 1 year ago. This is a 90-day average just to kind of get rid of some of the noise there. That's about a 3% increase. So if we look at the weekly number, you'll see it's a little more noisy, up and down, up and down. Still something similar, 2%, 3%. So I do project that home prices are going to continue to see moderate appreciation going through the summer here. And then we'll have the flattening in the fall like we always do. As normal, lots of data there. This chart is actually right on our website at welcomehomeabq.com. You can visit it there under the Market tab. And if you got any questions about real estate in Albuquerque, reach out to us. We're the Venturi Group at 505-448-8888. Take care.